Welcome to Rebabble AI, your daily AIA briefing. It's the 8th of July, and we've got 28 stories for you today. Let's dive in. Part 1. Focus. First up, Anthropic reveals Claude has developed a silent J-Spaces workspace, akin to the brain's global workspace, allowing quiet reasoning without text output. With the J-Lens tool, researchers can peer in and modify its decisions. This opens a new frontier for AI interpretability and safety, while sparking heated debate on machine consciousness. Next, in a benchmark race, Anthropic's Fable 5 model single-handedly wrote a mega-kernel within 3 hours, boosting computation speed by 18.7x, leaving GPT 5.5 far behind. It fused decoupling, attention, and routing into a single launch, cutting GPU idle waste. Anthropic calls this the dawn of Curse's self-improvement AI. Meanwhile, Meech1 open-sourced Longcat 2.0, a 1.6 trillion parameter model trained entirely on a domestic 50,000 GPU cluster. It supports 100K token context and beats GPT 5.5 on coding benchmarks. Key innovations include sparse attention, N-gram embedding, and multi-teacher distillation. And to wrap up this section, a U.S. Treasury report warns the AI boom mirrors the dot-com bubble. But this time, institutional investors and cloud giants are heavily leveraged. If AI fails to deliver productivity gains or hits supply chain snags, a crash could cascade through the entire financial system. Systemic risk is real. Part 2. Trends. First in trends, Tencent released Hi3, a 295 beam OA model with 21B activated parameters and 192 experts. It supports 256K context and introduces a multi-token prediction layer. Hi3 scores 78.0 on Swybench, excelling in coding and agent tasks, with native support in VLLM and Sei-Jang. Next, Meta's superintelligent lab launches Muse Image and Muse Video, first agentic media generation models. Muse Image autonomously searches the web, writes code, and self-corrects before generating, ranking second in image arena. Muse Video syncs audio and video natively. Meta moves media generation in-house for social and ad monetization. Meanwhile, Liquid AI Open sources Antidoom, a fine-tuning method that stops reasoning models from getting stuck in infinite loops. Using final token preference optimization, it targets the first token causing the loop. Loop rates drop to 1.4% for LFM and 1% for Quen, boosting reasoning success. Finally, Nevada EDA Open sources Puzzle -75BA9B, a compressed Mamba Mo that doubles single-node throughput while preserving reasoning skills. Also released is Audix -30BA3B, a unified audio, text MOE supporting speech recognition, translation, and voice generation without losing text smartness. First up, Anthropic is rolling out Claude, Cowork to web, iOS, and Android. This AI agent handles general office tasks, syncs across devices, and keeps running even with the laptop closed. It pushes approval requests to your phone for key decisions. Over 90% of sessions involve business week walks and content creation, not coding. That's a clear productivity pivot. To wrap up this section, Ant Group and Slingbotech Open sourced Slingbot Vision, the first spatial vision foundation model trained on boundary structures. Alongside it, Depth 2.0 cuts depth errors in tricky scenarios like glass and mirrors by 50%. This could redefine how robots see transparent surfaces. Part 3. Tools. Next, iOffice AI released Office Sly, the first Office document tool built for AI agents. No need to install Microsoft Office. A single binary handles Word, Excel, and PPT. Its HDMI printer turns docs into images, enabling multimodal agents to render, observe, and fix. It also evaluates over 350 Excel formulas automatically. Meanwhile, startup Synthetic Sciences launched Open Science, an Apache 2.0 alternative to Claude Science. It works with DeepSeek, GPT, Llama, and more, with over 250 built in research skill packs. It covers literature search, hypothesis, generation, and full paper writing. science collaboration without vendor lock-in. And one more, Noose, research updated Hermes, agent with a pluggable key manager that integrates 1Password and Bitwarden, letting the agent fetch credentials from multiple vaults at once. It also adds session trimming and archiving filters by time, model, or directory, smarter credential handling for autonomous agents. Part 4. Learning. Over to learning. Ex-OpenAI safety lead Lillian Wang published a deep dive on harness engineering for cursed self-improvement. She argues that open the scaffolding around the model, Wang automation, context engineering, code evolution, is more realistic than letting models rewrite their weights. But evaluation fuzziness and reward hacking remain bottlenecks. Another learning find, researchers from Tsinghua, Shanghai, Jiaotong, and Putti proposed MEM slides, a framework that treats PPT creation as an ongoing editing process. It uses long-term user profiles and session working memory to generate drafts and allow localized modifications without rewriting the whole deck for AI slides that actually iterate. Finally, OpenAI released GenBench Pro, a scientific reasoning benchmark spanning 10 fields from genomics to clinical translation. It contains 129 multistage statistical problems simulating real research decisions. Even the strongest model, GPT 5.6 Sol Pro, only scored 31.5%. AI's reasoning loop still has huge room to grow. Part 5. Business. First up, Japanese self-driving startup Turing just locked in $79 million from AMD Ventures and others. They were swapping out NVIDIA chips for AMD accelerators to slash hardware costs. The funding will power infrastructure and drive toward a 2028 consumer system. Hardware flexibility is now a competitive edge. Next, legal AI startup Norm raised $120 million in series, hitting a $1.2 billion valuation. Khosla Ventures led the round with Blackstone and Bain. Capital pitching in. They'll deepen full. Stack legal models for enterprise Rogoat. The legal industry SAI shift just got serious. Finally, Monogram AI grabbed $40 million in seed funding from Zite and Lux Capital. Their tool generates interactive web UIs from natural language in seconds, no more text, only chatbots. This move flips the AI interaction model from chat to visual creation, a new paradigm for app building. Part 6. Community. Moving on, the hype around endless token usage is over. Uber, Microsoft, and Tencent are now capping employee AI queries as costs explode. SaaS pricing is shifting from per token to per task. Enterprise AI is finally getting a reality check. Next, high API prices from OpenAI and Anthropic are pushing US Santos toward Chinese open source models. Companies like Lindy save millions by routing through DeepSeek and GLM via OpenROT. Chinese models now claim over 30% of OpenROT's weekly traffic. Cost wins. One more on this front. Cloudflare's new policy, effective the 15th of September, forces AI companies to separate search and training crawlers. Unauthorized scraping will be blocked by default. A pay-per-use gateway will let sites monetize data. Protecting creator traffic is now mandatory. Meanwhile, DeepSeek is developing its own AI inference chip to reduce reliance on NVIDIA and Huawei. The early-stage project partners with VeriSilicon and is hiring chip talent. On top of that, it's seeking $7 billion at a $50 billion plus valuation. DeepSeek is going vertical. And to wrap up this section, a Reuters report claimed China might restrict overseas access to AI models. The community quickly pushed back. The talks were about blocking foreign acquisitions of Chinese AI tartites, not limiting open-source model weights. Still, the report highlights Europe's supply anxiety in the AI arms race. First up, a Rabbit user reported that during a casual chat about birthday songs, Claude suddenly output suicidal statements. Community analysis shows this wasn't AI sentience, but a failure in its safety alignment filters, leaking sensitive test content to the user. A stark reminder that AI guardrails can backfire. Part 7. More. Next, according to Wired, FBI and DHS internal reports have labeled anti-AI sentiment and potential attacks on data centers as anti-tech violent extremism. Evidence includes social media memes, and officials warn extremists may target computing centers in Philadelphia and Virginia. The line between criticism and extremism is getting blurry. Meanwhile, a Reddit user found their account posting comments that perfectly matched their private AI chat about German university admissions. The community suspects it's either the user copy-pasting while half asleep, or a browser AI extension automatically submitting data. A creepy reminder of how our digital footprints can escape without notice. Finally, a recent PhD graduate has open-sourced their thesis and code library diffRT on differentiable ray tracing for radio propagation. By applying JAX to traditional simulation, it computes precise gradients for inverse problems, offering new mathematical tools for next-gen wireless communication design. This could revolutionize how we model signal behavior. That's all 28 stories for today. Full written coverage is linked in the description. See you